So, Tony has been traveling the world doing seasonal work for the past year and has just started a new job working as a lift. So, this tells us about the person for the first time near Wanaka, New Zealand. Training commenced with a slideshow about every different job at the fashionable resort, presumably to underline the fact that we'd got the worst of the outdoor one. Indoor employees, personal chefs, and private ski instructors lodge free on site. Outsiders battle for reasonably priced accommodation. Hordes of backpackers traveling through this. Do you think that this might fit into the suggest what someone might find challenging about working lefty? No. Okay, so the reason I say no is because this is specifically asking about being a lefty. It's not asking about being a lefty at the specific resort. Okay. And so we are talking about Wanaka, yes, what attracts visitors to Wanaka, but we are not really talking about the disadvantages of Wanaka because we are looking at the job of a lifty. Okay, so everyone was asking questions I didn't understand. What about rules on quick laps? What's the backcountry policy? Okay, so here, this I think would be an important what they might find challenging about working as a lifty. You have to have. I'm actually just going to label this as challenge. Do you guys agree with that? What about rules on quick laps? What's the backcountry policy? How deep's the base? How much snow do you make? I was clearly in over my head. Again, this time in snow, which gave the appearance of being soft, but which, as any snow sports fanatic will tell you, was more dangerous than it looked. Here are the answers. No quick laps. 1 week, apparently there's a trick used by experienced lifties who take turns to run the lift they're working on, each person doing two people's jobs, while their partner takes a lift to the top and skis or snowboards back down again. I want to see here, describe what being a lefty involves and what might appeal to people about this job. Okay, so this I think would be appealing, right? Do you agree? Yeah, absolutely. So backcountry was everything outside the marked boundaries of the ski area, avoided for fear of avalanches. Okay. The base snow depth was 2 meters, sometimes rising to 4, requiring much digging out. Snow was made night. Gigantic cannons shot this granular substance skywards, ensuring the mountain could be open for skiing, whether it snowed naturally overnight or not. None of this is really answering any of these questions, or are they? Okay, actually, I think this one might. I think, yeah, yes. And as I write this, I'm just going to make sure that I immediately add my why. So, that would attract people to Wanaka because the way I phrase that sucks, but we're just gonna live. Our lift supervisor boss marches around every lift in the ski field. So now you know the lift. See you all bright and early tomorrow. That was it. Training was over. Never pushed a button. Only the flimsiest concept how a ski lift even worked. How much less how to fix one if someone went wrong. So these, I believe, are all things that exist that are included in the job. So we've got you need to, number one, push the buttons. The ski lift. Okay. Number two, you need to fix the ski lift if something goes wrong. You need to use the radio base. And then this one I'm going to add on my own because it's not explicitly stated, but it is a thing that I can probably figure out here. Just want to okay. So we need to use the radio in case of an emergency, but we also need to use the radio in case something breaks, right? Okay. And then you need to assist guests on and off the lift. So I'm going to. Did I show you this footnote thing, Kieran? No, did I show you? Well, I am loving. Okay, so 4. There we go. Now, ski lifts spin all day, every hour. I'm going to just, if I do that, then it won't bother me because what's happening is there is a keybind that I have to create so that it will stop doing. But figuring out which keybind to use is the problem. I'm struggling to figure out what to. So, ski lifts spin all day, every hour, transporting skiers and riders of all ability levels up the mountain. I didn't know how many things I didn't know about my new job, but suspected there were plenty. So that gives you some basics, some of the basics of what being a lefty involves. Okay. Now we're going into more of the in-depth stuff. So next morning we assembled indoors, armed ourselves for combat, headed out again. Our opponents were the lift chairs, which overnight had turned into fantastic frozen sculptures. Relentless weather, coupled with dramatically sub-zero temperatures, transformed the tumbled steel and wooden frames into a series of massive ice monoliths, layered and carved by snow and wind into intricate abstract shapes. They were breathtakingly beautiful and a pain to clear before we could ride them to our allocated stations. Okay, so there we've got it. What do we have to do? We have to. Okay, does that make sense? Good. Oh. Then we're just going to. Oh my gosh. That's because I pressed it. Okay. Before we could ride them to our allocated stations at given points up the inventively named Giant Ski Slope. Okay. Now, the Giant Ski Slope might be something that attracts people, right? So walking back down from there took forever. Okay. So this might be a challenge. It might be challenging. Experienced lefties snowboarding. Okay, this might be a thing that attracts. I'm definitely going to do that. Okay. Look how close this. Wait, I'll show you just now. So one Wednesday, rumor had it we'd be closing early. Halfway up Giant ski slope, it seemed mildly surprisingly. The wind was raging, buffeting chairs and customers. Right here, depending on the type of person. So all afternoon, a slushy drizzle had been slowly working its way through my layers. The bus back from the mountain crawled out of the car park and attempted the descent, but it was a total whiteout. The huge windscreen filled with snow faster than the wipers could. We crunched into the uphill side of the mountain and stuck there. Gusts of wind revealing and conceding the narrow road ahead confirmed that drifts of snow. Driver radioed in. Situation. 2:45. Staggered, still soaked to the skin, chilled and exhausted. That was nothing. Next day, you should have been here for the great storm. So we've got a couple of notes there. We've got things that they might find challenging, some useful advice. I didn't write any useful advice. So some useful advice, I think. Okay. I think we could probably dress very warmly. Do some research beforehand. Don't be scared to ask questions because they won't be answering it on their own. What else? Can you think of something else? Take your snowboard, then you can learn. Can you think of anything else? I feel like that would be a little bit too specific. You could probably say that, bring a torch with you. But then you're going to have to say, okay, bring 5 pairs of underwear. Bring, like, it's obvious that if you're going to go somewhere and there might be some kind of emergency, you take a torch with. Like, anywhere you go, you should take a torch. So it's a little bit too obvious to say take a torch. But I've added here that always be ready for disaster. Take a waterproof camera because things are beautiful. And that maybe is. Okay, so let's quickly go look. Young person considering applying for any job at this resort. Something you might want to do is if you want to do this quick lapse thing, you're going to need to make friends. I would say make friends. be ready to make friends. I mean, you can say bring friends, but I wouldn't personally bring friends. Like my character that I'm creating. I don't know if that is too specific though. Just to say bring friends or make friends because um I don't think that is too specific. It's just like if you want to add bring a torch, then add bring a torch. But I mean, maybe that is the type of advice that your character would give. And when I say your character, remember when I said you are not the writer, you are not the narrator of this thing you're writing because you are a teenager. You are supposed to be a journalist. And so you need to play a role in your writing. Okay, so it will not be LeMay or Kieran or Shyla or Rain writing. It will be whatever character you're playing. Does that make sense? So we've got. I'm just looking for. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. We've got explain what attracts visitors to Wanaka and why. We didn't actually say much about Wanaka and what attracts people to it. Like the only thing I've got here is the giant ski slope, the snow all year round. So those two things. Yes. Okay, so we've got those two things. Like it might be great for some people to be traveling. We could say that useful to any young person considering applying for any job at this resort. We could say, like for advice, if you want an easier time with less strenuous work and better living conditions, definitely apply for indoor work. What do you think of that? Okay, so describe what being a lifty involves and what might appeal to young people about this job. Um, we know what's involved. We spoke about that, and what would appeal to them about this specific job. Okay, this is the definition of a lifty. Okay, anything else, guys? Okay, my throat is really sore now. I need to start talking. What I'd like you to do, take your notes that you've made, because I've made my notes, you've made your notes. Take your notes, and now you're going to write this piece. Okay, and you need to. How long should your article be? Let's go look. It should be 250 to 350 words. Okay. Everyone else can do it for next week. LeMay, please do yours for tomorrow for class. You should be giving yourself about maybe 30 minutes, 35 minutes to write this. No longer. If you do go longer, as you write, I want you to give yourself 35 minutes and then in another color, change pens or whatever. If you're typing, change the color that you're typing in and write the rest in a different color font or put it in italics or something.